Does white privilege exist?
100%.
Really?
Yes.
So are you a product of white privilege?
Am I what?
A product of white privilege.
Am I a product? I am white. Yes, I'm a product of white privilege.
And so you have privilege because you're white?
I feel like that's what our society has done, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes, guys, welcome to another very interesting episode of Culture War. Here, Jesse is going to be interviewing a stand-up comic, a female stand-up comic by the name Courtney Scheuerman. I hope I got that right. Very interesting interview. The topic was about white privilege and also about the Me Too movement. Very interesting and very, very funny as well. I'd like you to enjoy the video and I'd like you to drop your comments at the end of this video. If you've not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to get more videos like this. So without further ado, as usual, let's dive in.
I have with me today a stand-up comic, Courtney Scheuerman. Courtney Scheuerman. Her comedy has been featured on NBC's Late Call with Carson Daly. Thank you so much for coming on. What made you decide, hey, I want to be a comedian?
I started acting as a child, and I always had a respect for comedy. It was always something that I loved.
Yeah.
But I started at the Groundlings doing improv, and then after college, that kind of just led me into trying stand-up, and after my first time on stage, I was hooked.
Right on. How long you been doing it?
About 9 years.
And so when you are on stage, are you comfortable or uncomfortable?
I'm very comfortable.
Are you concerned that the people won't laugh?
No.
Have you ever had that issue? Well,
of course.
They're not going to laugh.
Yeah, a lot.
And so have you ever been up telling jokes and nobody laughed?
Of course. There's not a comic that's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so did you run behind stage and start crying?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
I
you
just,
did?
I just gave him the middle finger.
I don't blame you.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah, you are. I have noticed that women, the things that women do are not as good as the thing that men do. Like basketball, you have a women's basketball team. Especially with men, you're less likely to go to a woman's basketball team or game as opposed to a man, because women don't sweat. You know, they don't. They're like, You know, they don't get down and play hard. You know, they're
Is this an ambush?
Oh, no. What do you mean? But have you noticed that though? It's not as intense as men.
I don't know. I don't know if I.
I hear a lot of women say that too.
That women don't sweat?
They prefer men games or men comedy or men stuff than women stuff.
I think, again, that's a numbers game. I think for a woman to say that they prefer watching a man play sports, that I might get.
Yeah.
I grew up playing sports. I played basketball and softball my entire life.
Right. And would you prefer to see a man's game or a woman's game?
I would prefer to be playing.
And when you're not playing? How about when you're not playing?
I guess what we're saying, would we rather go to a WNBA game or an NBA game? I would prefer, actually, to go to an NBA game. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's a better stadium. It's a funner experience. There's more hype around it.
Yeah. And
yeah, it's been around longer. Huh?
It seems more natural.
I don't know if I agree with that. No.
Oh.
No.
And so you would like to be married, have kids, and all that good stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I've never been one of those girls who like pictured a wedding or dreamt about that.
Yeah.
I think my aspirations have been definitely more for my career.
Right on.
And are still there, but.
So at some point, will you want to cut off the career, get married, have a family, or?
No, never, no.
Once you get a family and have kids, would you still work or would you stay home?
Absolutely, yeah, I'd
Absolutely
still work.
what?
I would still work.
But how about the kids? Who's
What
going
about
to take care of the kids?
I take care of them.
Oh, you would?
Yeah.
Can you work and raise kids too?
I mean, that's a very specific, situational question, but growing up in my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I was very fortunate that
That's why you came out so well.
Yeah, I think so.
So
yeah, very
if you
fortunate
don't
to
be
have
home
her.
with your kids, they're not going to turn out well.
Well, I was about to say that in my neighborhood, there were a lot of families that weren't as fortunate to have a parent stay home. Financially, they needed both parents to be working. And I mean, my girlfriends and my friends in my community, they're lawyers and doctors and teachers, and they turned out great.
But do you agree with me, and you can disagree, of course,
Yeah.
that women who get married, have kids, and still work are very selfish women, right?
Is this an ambush?
I mean, are they
No, they are not selfish. What does
Well,
that mean?
which is best, to raise decent human beings, or for her to have a career and let the kids go screwed up?
Well, let me say this. I think there are a lot of situations where having a parent not stay home is beneficial. I feel like even for me, my mom maybe was a little overbearing and was maybe there a little too much. Maybe I needed a little more independence.
Well, that makes sense.
And I think her giving up, my mom was the first female criminalist for the LAPD, and she gave up her job. She stopped working to stay at home, and she regrets it every day.
Really?
Yeah, of course
Why?
she does.
I mean, having a daughter like you, that should make her proud that she stayed home.
And she's very proud of that, but I still would have turned out the way I did had she gone back to work and had something fulfilling for herself to do. Everybody needs a purpose, and after a certain point, your child doesn't need to be looked after.
What point is that?
I think, I mean, again, it's very situational and
of course.
circumstantial, but for me, probably around like 12 or 13, you know, when I started stepping into kind of like being an adult. A teen, yeah.
Were you raised by your father too? Your father was
Yeah,
there?
parents
Right
are
on.
still together. Yeah.
That's why it's best to be married and have kids, so that if the mother has to stay home with the kid, at least the father is providing. Am I right?
You think it's best for what?
To be married before you have kids,
Uh-huh.
so that the father can go out and provide and the mother stay home. But if you don't have that husband, then if the mother has the kids, she have to leave and leave the kids alone. That's why it's best to be married. Would you agree?
I feel like if that works for some people. I don't think.
But it did work for your family, right?
It worked for my family,
Yeah.
and that's wonderful.
And
but
is
I
that the
definitely
best
know
way though?
families.
Is that the best? I know they're doing it all kinds of ways nowadays,
Yeah.
but it's the best way with a husband and wife.
2 husbands or 2 wives.
To what?
2 husbands or 2 wives. You know, I think if.
So you think a woman should have 2 husbands at the same time?
I mean, I'm talking about a gay couple. I'm talking
Oh.
about there's all different ways to do it, and I don't think one.
But I'm just
One
talking
is
about, I
better
know
than
that they
the
are
other.
doing it all kind of ways
Yeah.
nowadays. But what is the best way is with one man
Whatever
and one
works
wife,
for you is the best way.
but not a husband and wife?
A husband and wife, I mean, traditionally, yes, that is absolutely what our society states is the best way.
And do you believe that's the best way?
I think for me, that would be the best way. Yeah.
And so what is it like being raised by a liberal father?
What is it like?
Yeah.
Um,
Because liberal men don't have, strength about them. They're like baiters.
My dad's 6'5" and will take anyone in this room.
Well, I don't mean physical strength, inner strength.
Oh, no. It takes inner strength as well as physical strength to do that.
Is he an emotional man?
He's very emotional, yeah.
Beta!
Yeah, I mean, he still plays hardball. He's won the Cy Young the last 8 years. I mean, he's as alpha as they get.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, how can he be emotional if he's alpha?
I think it takes an alpha kind of man, a leader, to say, yeah, this makes me sad, this makes me happy.
Can I interview
But actually,
him?
the strength to be able to show that and not hide.
Can I
That's an
interview him?
alpha. Yeah.
Oh, will you set it up where I can talk to your father?
Absolutely, I would love
can't
that.
wait to meet your beta dad. Do you believe in God?
I believe that's kind of a personal question for me. I believe in a higher being.
A higher being?
Yeah.
What, like an illegal alien?
I believe in something. I don't.
You don't know
wanna
what it
put-
is?
Yeah.
So it could be an illegal alien. You know how lately we've been seeing those spaceships and they have those. It could be one of those?
My belief is not that it's an alien. In my mind, that's not what I see. But
So you believe in a real God?
I believe, yeah, I have a spiritual connection with a higher being. Yeah.
And do you call him God?
No.
You call him Dad?
No, I don't call him dad.
You call
I just
him-
have one dad.
You call him Father?
No.
What do you-
I don't label it as male or female.
So when you pray, you just say, "Oh, higher being, help me."
I actually don't pray for something to help me. No.
What do you pray for?
I pray to, not for.
So, and what do you pray to the higher being about?
About the well-being of me here on this earth, about the people that I love and I care about.
And so just, I'm black and I'm slow. Do you say,
I love that your race had something to do with that.
and so when you pray for something for yourself, do you say, higher being help me? Or do you say, Father God help me?
I don't put a label on it.
Why not?
I just talk to, because I don't know.
Oh, I see.
I have no physical proof, and so I just pray to what feels right, and not. I wasn't raised with any formal religion.
Really? Were you atheist at one time?
No, never
Agnostic?
atheist.
Amazing. Have you noticed overall women they're easily offended?
No,
Do you think that women are like that? Most women are?
no.
Really?
No,
So
I
then
don't.
why do you need all these laws to protect women? You can't say this about them. You can't do this. You can't touch them. You can't open the door. You can't say your hair is nice. They got all... You can't say, oh, you're having a nice dress today.
Oh,
If they are
Jesse.
not easily offended, why do they need so many laws? Men don't need all those laws.
Okay, we're gonna go here. Men don't. So right now we're coming out of a time and a movement, the Me Too movement, which I guess is what you're.
Well, I wasn't thinking of that. I was just thinking all these laws that these women have to protect themselves against any kind of word or anything when they're supposed to. And then on one hand, they say, oh, we're so strong. We're so strong. But then they have all these laws to protect you from the women. You can't say anything about it. You can't say, oh, you fat today or And they would be like,
Is
oh,
that something
that
you
word-
often do? You just
That word,
let a
be like,
woman
oh,
know
that
she
word
looks fat today?
offended me. Why, if they so strong or not easily offended, why do they need so many laws?
I don't think that you're asking about women being offended in terms of. I don't think there are.
Yeah, they're easily.
There's laws against touching women, which there should be.
After a while, you're not going to be able to shake their hands either. Oh, he touched my hand.
No. There's
Or
no
when
law
he
against.
touched my
there's no law
hand,
against
he
shaking a
held
woman's
it
hand.
like a man can. He held it sexually.
There are laws that have been set in place for legit reasons.
No, but I'm saying,
some
why are they
women
so
have-
easily offended, though?
Why?
But you do agree that they are, right?
I don't. No, I
Oh,
said
you
I
don't
don't.
agree?
I don't agree that women are easily offended.
Why do
no.
they need so many laws then?
I'm not sure what laws we're talking about.
All of them.
What? Name one law.
He spoke to me in the wrong way.
That's not a law.
He was verbally.
I need a fact check. What law is he spoke to me in the wrong way?
He was verbally abusive.
Verbally abusive. If a man is in a position of power and is speaking to a woman and is verbally offensive, yeah.
But have you heard the way women
But that's
talk
not
to
just
men?
I was just going to say that.
Women
If there
got
is no
some of the
law for how a
nasty
man can talk
mouths.
to a woman. It goes both ways.
So should men have women put in jail by crying, "Oh, she was verbally abusive"?
No man has ever gone to jail for being verbally abusive
But whatever they
in the
do
history
to
of the United States.
I know, but whatever they do to the men, should that men start reversing that on the women?
100%.
Oh, okay.
Yes, 100%.
I got to ask you about abortion. You support abortion or you anti-abortion?
I support abortion.
Really?
I do.
Would you ever have an abortion?
That's a very personal question.
Meaning what?
Meaning I don't feel comfortable answering that.
Alabama just passed a law to protect the innocent children from being killed inside the womb.
Innocent children?
Yeah,
Or a
the
fetus?
child inside the womb,
A child or a fetus?
a baby in the womb. Are you okay with Alabama doing that, or are you against that law?
I'm against that law.
What gives the women the right? What kind of a woman would want to kill a man's baby in her womb? What would make her want to kill the child of this man's child in her womb? What kind of woman would do something like that? What happened to her heart that you want to kill an innocent child inside her own womb? And then call it something else. Fetus, she make it sound like it's not a real baby. What type of woman is that?
What type of woman is that? That's a really great question. I think the type of woman is a 15-year-old who is raped by a man and doesn't want to have the baby.
Is that a justifiable reason to kill it?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not? It's bad enough being raped, right?
Uh-huh.
And so the guilt from rape is horrible.
Uh-huh.
So if you kill the child in your womb, that's adding to the deal rather than having the baby and putting it up for adoption if you don't want to keep it. Why kill it?
Because it hasn't come to term. It's not even considered.
I know, but whenever people want to do wrong, they rename it, or they don't want to face reality of what it is because they want to do wrong. Like these women who want to kill the children in the womb, they call it everything but a baby because they don't want to face the reality they're about to kill a child. What happened to their mind that made them do something like that?
I think I just explained that question.
But do you see the correlation where, like, these women who are killing the
Do you
children?
eat eggs?
I'm sorry?
Do you eat eggs?
I haven't in a while, only because they say it's not good for you. But I used to eat them all the time for breakfast.
Would you consider an egg a chicken?
No,
Why?
because it's an egg still. It's not attached to the thing.
What?
But
Sorry, what?
we're talking about human beings. I'll kill a chicken in a minute.
But is a human
Matter of
being
fact,
is a
when I was
human being an
growing up-
animal? Is a
Matter
human
of
being
fact-
an animal?
No.
Oh. Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So human beings aren't animals.
No.
Well, I mean that's not debatable. That's science.
No,
Humans
they're not
aren't
animals.
humans aren't animals.
Now they act like animals when they fall away from God. I know they act like animals. You're right. Those in that fallen state, but they're not animals when they overcome that fallen state. You gotta agree.
No, I
You
mean
gotta agree.
There's no debating. I mean, like you learned this in elementary school. Humans are animals.
Oh, you believe that humans are animals?
That's not up for debate or discussion.
So you believe that
It's-
humans are animals?
It is.
You believe that?
100%.
You should go back and beat that teacher
Which one?
that lied to you about that.
I went to the #1 public school in the country.
No, they lied to you.
Okay.
They do act like animals in a fallen state. You believe human beings are in a fallen state?
You're taking this to a spiritual conversation, but just on a scientifical, what is platform? Humans
No,
are animals.
humans are not animals. Unlike animals, humans are created in the image of God, so they're not animals. They do all kind of crazy things like animals, but they're not really animals. Do women in America have enough rights?
Do
Because I
women?
know they're always crying for rights. Right, I want rights to this right, I need rights. Do they have enough now?
Women have the same rights that men have. So
But-
yes, I feel that they have enough rights.
So it's time cut off when they're begging for more rights, right?
I mean, women are still paid less than men.
No, that's not true anymore. It's definitely not true. Where are the stats? Where are the stats?
Yeah, I mean,
Women are making more money than men now.
you're gonna be wrong on that one. Yeah, women are definitely paid less than men. Okay. we'll
Only
agree to
because you have the women who are just starting out in the workplace. They may be making more money. I mean, less money than the man who's been there already, due to experience and time. That what you mean?
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, even starting wages for men are higher than women.
Oh,
Statistically
I
speaking.
wish that was true.
You
But-
wish?
Yeah, but you know why, right?
Why? I'm
Men
I'm
have-
sure I'm going to love this answer. Why?
Men have more experience. They're better at the job, and they've been there longer because they're men.
Do you have any women that watch this show?
Yeah, a whole truckload of them around the world. Matter of fact.
Wow.
Why you ask that?
These questions, you know?
What's wrong with them?
No.
Do you agree with socialism?
Sure.
You do? No, you don't.
I
Come
believe.
on. Look, you can wink your eye at me that way. I know you're playing. Yeah. You're joking, right?
Sure.
Does white privilege exist?
100%.
Really?
Yes.
So are you a product of white privilege?
Am I what?
A product of white privilege.
Am I a product? I am white. Yes, I'm a product of white
And
privilege.
so you have privilege because you're white.
I feel like that's what our society has done. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
In what way?
How is it that you are more privileged than anyone else? Especially black folks. Black people get away with anything now.
I'm sorry. Were you asking if I believe that that's right,
Do you
or that I
believe
have
it
been?
exists?
I believe it exists. Do I feel that it's right? No.
Oh, okay. But
No.
I don't think it exists. It's a made-up lie.
You don't believe it exists?
Uh-uh.
Huh. That's interesting.
Have you noticed that white people are the most hated, especially white, straight, conservative men in power, that they are the most hated species on this side of heaven? Have you noticed that?
The white man isn't doing too well right now. I'll agree
Why
with
do they
that.
hate him so much? He hasn't done anything to them. Why do they hate him? So, let's think about this. White people founded the greatest country on earth, called America,
Right.
and they let all these people of
But they
color
didn't-
come in.
They didn't.
They let the people of color
They
come
didn't
in.
find America. They colonized America.
No,
there were Native Americans here before the white man ever
And you know
ever
what?
stepped foot on here.
You know what they were doing, right?
What's that?
Smoking pot.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
They
not
wasn't
pot.
building.
They
They
were
wasn't.
smoking a lot of things
It was
that are
better than-
natural to the
They
world.
had
yeah.
the good stuff.
To the earth. Yeah.
They had the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Wow, great interview, guys. Great interview. I literally enjoyed this interview. But what I noticed about this particular interview, this particular lady, Courtney, she was very, very triggered, but she withstood every triggering question that Jesse threw at her. She, unlike other lefties, when they come to Jesse's, program, they usually get irritated, get triggered, and most of them actually walk away from the program. But this lady, I must give her flowers. She was strong enough to, withstand all Jesse's, annoying questions. But very interesting, guys. I'd like to know what your reaction to the video, and if you're not subscribed as usual, I always encourage you to subscribe to the channel so you keep getting more interesting videos like this. So I'll see you in the next one. My name is Roland. Bye bye.